Okay, welcome to today's broadcast or live stream. Today I'm going to be working a little bit on this sculpture or not a sculpture actually, a drawing. And this drawing, I'm going to be using some references or a reference that I took myself and try to do a little bit longer form of a drawing. Oh, alarm going off. One sec. And so these are the sketches from last time. Today's January 16th. The reference image is from, I took some images on the 14th when I turned 32, and so I thought it might be cool to try to do a kind of a self-portrait type figure study. This will be kind of a torso study. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'll be doing it on like a little bit nicer of paper. So this is newsprint, what I typically use, and now I'll be using this like more official paper. I don't know what it is. I guess I could look at the back. What is this? This is drawing paper. What does it say? Well, this is what it is. So 80 pound drawing paper. I'm going to be taking this down. Okay, so we're going to be just starting this new drawing. Let me zoom out a little bit. And I'll just try to get things laid in. Hopefully things will come together okay. And I'll try to do it similar to the way I did the other one. The other longer form drawing, because I liked how that one turned out, and I thought, oh well, it'd be cool if I could do one of myself, kind of a, I don't know if you call it a self-portrait, but at least a torso study. And with this one, maybe because it's a little bit longer of a study, maybe I'll take the time to check the preliminary sketch and make sure that things are looking about accurate before I move on. Good morning, somebody's saying on YouTube. Good morning. If you have questions or anything, let me know. I've also tried to recently change the mic setup, and so hopefully that is a little bit better than it was. And we'll see about that. But if there's any issues, please let me know so that I can try to address those. So let's see. Going to Oh, looks like we got a full memory card on my camera, and I wanted to record this, so let me go grab another memory card. 1 second. Okay, yeah, I don't want to lose the process of this, because hopefully it'll be a worthwhile thing to document. Though you never know, you know, some drawings work out and some don't. So, oh, let me grab my phone so I can check the proportions. So there's an app that I really like called DaVinci Eye, and I use it a lot for sculpting, but it's also good for drawing. And it just allows you to overlay a reference image with the camera of your phone so that you can check the proportions and everything. So it's the DaVinci Eye app, and I'm just going to use that to classic mode to just check and see how things are looking. I'm going to change the opacity a little bit just to see where if my placement is looking good for different on the page. And it's not terrible. Let's see. It's not terrible placement, but there's a couple things I want to adjust. So I want to say, oh, this arm maybe comes down a little bit more, comes over here. And my hair on top is a little bit higher. So I'll give an indication of that. And looks like this negative space in here is a little bit different than what I laid out. And over here, my stomach is coming out a little bit more than I maybe would like, but that's the reality of it. Let's see. So, yeah, that just allows me to check myself, make a couple changes in where I'm putting things, and then this outline is something that I can go off of. I think that's probably all I'll do as far as checking, just to make sure that the foundation is okay, and it's close enough. It's not super close, or it's not super far off, so I think we can just keep moving forward. Somebody's asking, hi, is that yourself? Yeah, this is going to be kind of like a self-portrait from kind of a progress photo from, and I will tuck in. I'm the artist, so I get to slim myself down a little bit. So I will tuck in what I'm seeing here a little bit, and I'm going to start by looking for straight lines and building things out that way. Let's see. And then I'll go in and start just pulling out, you know, trying to like wrap the figure in a series of lines that gives me a foundation to to start searching for anatomy and things like that. But I'm kind of focused on the outline right now. That app is great. Yeah, it's really useful. Um, yeah, it's definitely a useful app. And I think, well, when I got it, it was reasonable. I think it was like $10 or something. I don't know. Inflation might have changed that, but for me, it's worth it because I use it all the time. So, okay, let's see. And then we have this arm coming down. Hello there. I'm from Spain, Madrid. Madrid. Madrid, Spain, as we would say in the States. Hello and welcome. It's great to have so many people from so many different places around the world. I'm trying to start with, light lines if I can that are easy to move and that will be easy to change if I need to. Okay. Gonna come across and try to give an indication for well, they're actually, it's pretty straight across for the clavicles. What those would be. And I think I'm going to try to do some of what I did on the other drawing where I was really focused on the light and shadow and then let some of the areas bleed into the background. And so like this area right here where there's shadow that kind of moves into the background, I want to include that. So I'm going to try to do that as I'm going along. Okay, so we got, maybe I'll give just an indication of the features of the portrait. So we got this. We got kind of looking up slightly. And I can tell that because the nose is a little bit higher than the ears. The ears fall a little bit lower, and so that means that the head is tilted up slightly. Then I can give just a little bit of an indication of the ear. So let's see. I'm trying to see if the width of the head is accurate, or if I'm adding too much by adding these ears. We'll bring it in just a little bit. And a lot of this, this first drawing session will just be trying to get things in place, and then I can worry about the shading more. But this is one that I want to take to a pretty pretty smooth or well done shading. I'm gonna just basically outline some of the shapes that I'm trying to that I'm seeing in the shadows that divide the light from shadow. And I am seeing, okay, so the chest is kind of, body's kind of turned this way a little bit. So maybe we'll get a center line in there. Is that about right? Yeah, something like that. Let's see. Okay, so and I get to, you know, as the artist, I get to change things if I feel like I want to pull things different in a different direction than what I'm seeing as the reference. Though you guys can see the reference, so I kept honest that way. Okay, we got the shoulder. Now I'm gonna try to come in and outline some of the anatomy. We got the shoulder coming in this area right there. We've got the chest over here. Got an indication of the tricep that's pretty soft. Then these group of muscles on the forearm. Then I'm just going to check the length of things. So I'm getting that this between here and here is about the same as there and there. And that's about, it's close enough, so go with that. Okay, and then we have we've got the nose right here, and then the mouth, and then the portrait. Let's see, I'm just slightly off from the center, so I want to try to incorporate that. But that means that some of these lines are going to have to be adjusted slightly. Got my phone in my hand, representing what, you know, the online stuff that I do. Also because that's what I was using as a trigger to take the photos. But we'll say that it's because it's a representation of the work I do online. A lot of the work that I do from my phone. Okay, and then we got the phone there. And let me find roughly where the outline of my forearm is. Something like that. And then my hands coming across here. The hands are tricky, so I want to, you know, take some time and make sure that those are feeling right. and take some extra time on the angles and things that are going on in that area. But this is really, you know, the foundation, even though it's not as, maybe it's not as fun to watch, especially as I'm trying to sculpt lightly, but it's really important, and there's a purpose to that light hand when you're doing that, because any mistakes, if they're really pressed into the surface of the paper, then it just becomes more difficult to get rid of those. So I'm trying to stay light and flexible at this point, to where I could change things. I'm also going to, maybe with the beard, let's see, what's the shape of that? From the front. And part of this is coming to terms with the fact that I'm now a bearded person. I think that's the look that I'm gonna go for. And I've, you know, at first I was hesitant to go full out with the beard, but what can I say? It's grown on me. It's grown on me. Pun intended. Okay, let's see. So okay, let's see. I'm a fan of your videos, and through them I'm doing my first sculpting job, Yoda 1:1 scale in monster clay, and then silicone. Oh wow, 1:1, so you're doing it like the size of the actual puppet of Yoda. That's pretty cool. Yeah, good luck with that project. I'd love to see if you have a free account over at Proca.com. I love seeing student work, so if you share it over there under any of the lessons from my courses, from either the sculpting course, the figure sculpting fundamentals course, or the portrait sculpting course, or any of that, if you share like images that relate to the different lessons that I go over, then I try to watch out for those and comment when I can on student work. But I love seeing it, and that's great to hear that you're able to create something fun like that. I'm just checking the audio, making sure we're still sounding good. It makes me nervous because this microphone, I had some issues with it before. It's an inexpensive microphone, and during one of the videos it ran out of battery, and it just started like this high-pitched like beep kind of noise. And it ruined the audio for like a whole video where I was talking for like 40 minutes. So I'm kind of trying to be cautious with that. Okay, now I'm going through and trying to just say, okay, this is the shadow area. Okay, so I think this rough outline, I can now start to go in and be a little bit more, commit to some of the shading a little bit more. So I'm gonna try to first I'm just thinking about this front light, this key light that's on the figure, and gonna try to outline the shadows of this key light. There is another light behind, so there's one right here, there's one kind of behind a little bit, and I'll try to ignore the one that's behind. And then there's also this this light coming from the other direction to give some separation, and we'll see how we address that later. But for now, I'm just going to start trying to be soft and basically just go in and say, like, this is the separation between light and shadow. Okay. And this you know, line that separates light and shadow, that's really what I want this drawing to be about. And so at first I'm just going to go in and give these rough indications of what's happening, and then later I'll come in and treat these lines a little bit more. So there's going to be areas where the transition is more harsh, like here under the pec, where there's a cast shadow, pectoralis muscle. I'm going to be a little bit more harsh with that transition. And then areas like right here where it's turning, I want to soften that transition a little bit. And then even though this is a cast shadow, it's still pretty soft, and I think I want to keep that softness. And you can see why the guidelines are so important, because as I'm looking for these shadow shapes, I want to make sure that they align with things like the center line, you know, that belly button there. And if I'm creating these shadow shapes in a way that doesn't align with those guidelines, then it's going to start looking off. It's going to start looking bad pretty fast. And then here I'm gonna be coming in a little bit more directly with a sharper line to give this separation here. As the line transitions to the armpit. Some shading in here, but not a ton. I'm afraid of the tablet. Don't fall off. The pad. Oh yeah, it's well, I have this. It has like a backer on it that kind of slides off, and then there's a thing underneath, so it's actually fairly secure. I mean, if I pulled it, I'd have to like pull it off. But yeah, I kind of set it up so that it wouldn't fall down, and hopefully it won't. But hello, Andrew. How are you? I'm doing okay. I do find that I've been feeling a little bit drained. I don't know if it's the live streams or what, but I do feel a little bit drained. I think trying to, you know, like mentally, it's just something that I need to get used to. But I'd like to keep going with the live streams. But I'm doing better than I deserve, as Dave Ramsey would say. Let's see. I understood a little. I don't speak English, but I understand a little. That's why I haven't taken your courses. But the videos help me a lot to understand the order of sculpting. Yeah. Well, the language barrier is very difficult. I learned Spanish when I was, 19, because I was doing a Spanish-speaking mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the church that I belong to. And it's tricky to learn a language. It's very difficult. And people that haven't learned a language, they don't really appreciate. Well, maybe they can guess that it would be difficult, but it is very difficult. But I think we're working on ways to translate the courses into different languages. So hopefully that'll be accessible to more and more people. Okay, so that, let's see, also. Build. So even though there was a light coming from the back, there was a backlight a little bit, I think I'm going to try to get rid of that in the drawing. I think I'm going to try to eliminate that and just focus on the key light and this rim light that's lighting me from the side. So that means that maybe in this area here, I'll have this fade off into the background, and then maybe something similar in other areas. Okay, let's come up. I'm gonna do just a little bit on the portrait before we start to maybe lay in some of the background shadow shapes. And I'm not thinking about this as, you know, a nose or an eye or anything like that. I'm just thinking, oh, what's the shape of the shadows? And let me outline those shadows. So I'm just outlining shadows at this point. Just outlining shadows. I guess it's probably pretty difficult for you guys to see exactly what's happening, just because of how light the lines are at this point. So I apologize for that, but I want to keep it light until I feel confident in the lines that I've drawn. And there are some areas where I will, play with the line work, because that's something that I really like when I see other artists that are able to do that in a fun way. And so I will try to do that as I go along. But a lot of these areas where it's going to be dipping into shadow, I want to allow the line work to go away, basically. So I'm gonna, usually they say like, oh, if it's facing the light, then you want to do a lighter line to say that this is the light area. But I'm actually going to go the opposite, and I'm going to do a darker line in some of these light areas as the silhouette or the outline. And then in the dark areas, I'm going to let the line disappear entirely and just kind of fade off into the background. And the reason for that is that I just think it'll look cool. Well, it'll give extra contrast between the dark, and then there's going to be a separation, and then the light. And I think it'll help. It'll add interest to the drawing. But we'll see. You know, this is kind of experimental. It's all practice, so we're just gonna see how it comes along. But I'm gonna start doing that, giving some stronger indications of the line work between forms. So let's see, the shoulder here. Maybe I'll allow that line to disappear and then come back in areas. So we're just gonna try to have some fun with this outline. Okay, so getting the start of something. So now I think I can start with the background, shading in the background. And this is something I always struggle getting a consistent looking background, so I'm gonna try to slow down and take my time. And it's not a super fun part of the process to me, but if I can get a background that that looks somewhat even and consistent, then that'll help make the drawing a better drawing. I'm actually going to come into some of these areas where there's not a big difference in tone between the background, so I'm actually going to come into the beard area, give a similar tone as the background. I'm leaving, but today I'll send you my image. It'll be great pleasure if you tell me about the success and failures. There'll be a lot more failures for sure. Well, yeah, I'd appreciate it if you share those things. And like I said, over at Proko.com is the easiest way to have it. I check it every once in a while, so it might be a little bit before I get to it. But yeah, it's always great to see student work. Okay, so you can see, that the shading right now is a little bit like you can see where the lines begin and end a little bit more than I'd like, but I'll come over it from different directions and hopefully be able to smooth that out as I'm going. come in here. I think I will include the rim light. So the only one that I'm getting rid of is this backlight on this side. So the only shadows I'm going to adjust are the ones like under this back area of the lat over here, and so along with the background, I'm coming in and, oh, there's some places where there should be some light coming through over here. And I will work on that a little bit later as we're going, but for now I just want to outline that this is an area that's not completely falling into shadow. Beautiful work in the videos you post. I'm fairly new to sculptor, self-taught, and enjoy watching your videos. People like yourself make it more fun to sculpt. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, sculpting can be really fun, but it can also be frustrating, and so that's why it is good to have some resources to turn to for technique and things like that. So I'm trying to just be slowly getting a line work that gives an indication of all these areas that are in shadow. See, there's quite a lot of shadow in here. I'm just gonna It says, oh wait, is that a self-portrait? Dude's jacked. LOL. Yeah, it's a self-portrait. Yeah, I try to stay in shape. Comes in handy if you ever need to do a self-portrait or a work of art and you want to be your own reference. Though, you know, I'm not super toned, but yeah, I'm a big fan of exercise. In fact, I did a video on why every artist should exercise. It's up on my YouTube channel. There's a lot of benefits to physical exercise. Moving heavy things, pushing yourself. Not just physical benefits of looking better and feeling healthier, but mental and psychological benefits as well. So I'm a big proponent of trying to be healthy. We get one body, so we should take care of it. We're only given one body. Okay, now that I've got the background started to be filled in, I'm going to come back and work on the shading on the inside a little bit more. So now I can push these shadows a little bit. For this separation between light and shadow a little bit. I'm going to This is the light that I'm using is a very soft. It's like a softbox light. So even though the cast shadows are not very soft, even in this, because of the soft lighting, I'm gonna, if I can tell that it was a cast shadow, I'm gonna try to give more of a firm line to indicate that that was a cast shadow rather than the shadow of the form. So I'm really trying to be conscious of like what is happening, and I'm trying to be thinking about the shadows in a way that, like, designing them rather than just trying to mindlessly copy gradients and what I'm seeing. So this is a cast shadow under the pec, so I'm gonna give it a little bit more of a harsh transition. And then here, let's see, this is gonna go from a thin separating line, and then it's gonna become more thick and pronounced as it moves. Or I should say that gradient is going to become softer as it moves across the chest over here. Okay. I think that's a good place to pause for this session. I think I've got things more or less off to a good start, and so I'll keep going as I'm trying to finish this this study, drawing study. It's been fun, and I look forward to doing more. So,
We're going to the library.
you're going to the library?
Bye.
Hey, Jimus. All right. Stay creative, stay productive. Check out the links in my bio if you'd like to learn about an artist's X-ray vision. There's one on the male figure, the female figure, helpful resources and diagrams to understand the figure, and those ebooks really help me out, as well as my online courses. So, hey, Jimus, you want help? Okay. All right. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you around.